There has been no musician in modern times more influential, more revolutionary, more famous than KK Slider. Now, KK Slider needs no introduction, but I'll give him one anyways. KK Slider is the main musician in the Animal Crossing series. Every Saturday, you can visit KK Slider either at the Roost or in the town square, depending on the game, to get a performance from him. Throughout the Animal Crossing game series, KK Slider has had many songs in different genres to kind of highlight the different types of music all around the world. Now, there have been many rankings of the actual songs of KK Slider. Today, I'm going to be doing something a little different. I'm going to be ranking the KK Slider album covers. When you get a copy of his music, this is the art you see attached to the song. I'm going to be going from 107 all the way down to number 1, and I will be looking at the covers used in Animal Crossing New Horizons. If you want a ranking of additional covers in previous games, please let me know in the comment section down below. And also in the comment section, if you disagree with any of my rankings, I put your favorite a little too low, let me know why I should give it a second look and reconsider why it should be a little better off, or maybe why some of these covers are not as good as I claim they are. But with that, let's get started with our lowest tier album cover. So in last place, I have KK Flamenco. When I look at this one, it seems a little lazy to me. I know that these album covers take a lot of time. There are very talented artists working on these games. This one seems like the lowest effort KK Slider album cover. They took my girl Tipper and they just edited her head on it, and they didn't even do a good job sticking the rose in her mouth. I don't think it looks super involved. All the other album covers on this list look way better and have more time and effort put into them. So Flamenco is getting our lowest tier spot without a doubt. I know I said you can convince me if I put your favorite too low, but if this is your favorite album cover, I don't believe you. This one is very lazy. Coming in 106th place, we have KK Milonga. This one is very strange to me because Diva, girl, why are you posed like that? It is so overtly sexual, and I don't understand. There's no other KK Slider cover that is as sexual, and I know I may sound nitpicky because it's really not that sexual, but for a children's game and the way she's posed, girl, get up. Don't lie down on the floor for any man, not even a famous artist. Get up and stand up on your feet. I do not get this one at all. I think it's very haunting to me in not a good way. I am not a fan of this cover. In 105th place, we have Pondering. I think this one also is pretty lazy. They just stuck KK Slider in the middle of all these question marks. I do like how there are different question marks. It's not just the same one repeated again and again, but this one, there are better album covers with better artwork on it. 104, we have KK Cruisin'. I don't like the vibes this one gives off. All my other criticisms will not be based on a vibe check, but this one, I just don't like the vibes. It reminds me way too much of the Drake Take Care album, and they don't actually look too similar. It's just the vibe I get from it. I do not like KK Cruisin'. In 103rd, we have KK Slack Key. This one, his body is just very oddly shaped to me. I know it's the art style, but he looks a little unusual here, the way that he's positioned and his body is drawn. So I'm not the biggest fan of this one, but it's not terrible. In 102nd, we have KK Western. This one kind of irritates me because I think this album cover would look so much better if it was just the Wanted poster. I don't know why this background is here. It looks like this Wanted poster is laying on a table and they took a picture of it on the table. If you just crop out the background, rotate the image, and fill it in, I think it would look so much better. Now, here is my very low effort rendering of it. I am not an artist, so I really don't have any right to judge other people's artistic decisions, but I think it just looks better if it's just the Wanted poster. 101, we have Soulful KK. This one we have the appearances of Spork, Apollo, Deirdre, and Kitty. And for some reason, Deirdre's body looks like she's leaning forward to sing more so than the other ones. I don't like how all the villagers don't look very uniform. They just took probably screenshots in the game. It looked like Deirdre is doing one of the reactions that she does, and they just slapped it on there. This one, just not a fave. Next up, we have KK Space in our 100th space, so cracking in at the top 100. This one is supposed to be a reference to Space Oddity, but the cover does not look Space Oddity-ish at all. I don't know what the disconnect is with why why they did this repetition type of cover with one of the images being KK with his eyes closed, because it doesn't look like Space Oddity at all. So I'm not super sure what the vision for this one was, but I think it could be improved a little slightly. Now moving past our top 100, in the 99th spot, we have KK House. This one features Frigga, Penelope, and Gale. This one's just way too busy. As you're gonna see later on the list, I love the ones that are very vibrant and colorful, but this one is just too much for me. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I think it could have been toned down a little bit more. I think the villages that they use could have created a little bit more contrast here. So I'm gonna have to put this one just in the top 100 at 99. In 98, we have KK Synth. I'll keep it simple. I just don't get this one. I look at this cover and I don't quite understand it. And that may be a stupidity on my part, but I look at it and I don't feel anything from it. In 97, we have DJ KK featuring Cookie. This one's just a mess. I know the art style and the time period it's trying to mimic, but the blurriness on KK, how Cookie looks just kind of plopped in, she doesn't really seem to blend in well with the rest of the album cover. This one's just truly a mess, in my opinion. Next up, we have KK Rock in 96. KK is not really on this album cover. We have his silhouette, but he's not prominently featured. One thing I like in the KK Slider album covers is that KK himself is prominently featured. And I know this one's supposed to be a play on AC/DC, but I just wish KK was present a little bit more. This one is very similar in design to another one we're gonna get later on. I just think this one is a weaker type of album cover. Coming in at 95, we have Hypno KK. I don't think there's anything like abhorrently wrong with this one. It's just a little basic to me. I do like how the wording up at the top is kind of in like a wave, so it kind of creates like a dreamlike scenario. This one I just think is basic, not much to it. In 94th, we have KK Disco featuring Fuchsia. I think this one's cute for KK. Fuchsia, I think, could use a little bit of work. The proportions of her head to body don't really fit super well. I think if the artist who designed this one kind of restructured Fuchsia's head, made it so the fan that she's holding looks a little bit more like a fan, I think this one would be a way stronger entry. In 93rd, we have Mr. KK featuring Pinky, Walker, Pashmina, Bo, Teddy, Sydney, Bunny, Maple, Blue Bear, Eloise. Now, Eloise only kind of sticks out in a little bit on the back page. This one, I get what the vibe's supposed to be. It's supposed to be KK Slider is the teacher, he's Mr. KK, and all of the other villagers are his pupils. But it feels very stagnant to me. I wish we would see the villagers doing a little bit more, participating more, instead of just kind of standing there looking forward. It looks very two-dimensional, which is, I know is a silly thing to say, because obviously this is a two-dimensional image, but I would like a little bit more oomph, a little bit more personality coming from these villagers, and I just don't see it for this one. But I do like the class photo setup. It's cute. 92, we have KK Bashment. This one's very basic. I think the art design is very good on this one. It's very well drawn, but I would have just liked if there was a little bit more in all these empty whitish gray sections here to kind of add on to it. I know the vibe it's supposed to give off is that he's isolated, but I think you can still convey isolationism without it being just empty space. In 91, we have KK Bossa featuring Frank. This one I do like, but it's not a favorite. The reason why is because I think that Frank is kind of hard to see in the back. He blends in a little too well, and I think more could have been done to make him pop a little bit more along with KK. KK blends in way too much with this black and gray, and I think he's kind of hard to see. And as the artist on the cover, he should definitely stick out more. Now in our top 90, we have KK Jazz. Again, this is another one where there's just empty space up the top. I think they could have made the KK Slider blue photo a little bit larger and then raise the wording to kind of fill up some of that empty space. I'm just not a big fan of empty space, so I'm going to be critical of that every single time, unless I think it is very intentionally and well done. In 89, we have KK Island, another one that I think needs a little bit more detail. I think if we have a little bit more in the sky, adding in other things there, maybe someone flying up ahead, but I do like how KK looks on his little island, how the hut and the coconut tree look, just very cute overall. Next, we have KK Stroll featuring Alice. This one has the things flying in the sky like I was critical of for KK Island, but my criticism for this one is KK is barely featured in this one. He's kind of almost cut off in the bottom here. Alice is very cute, but I am always going to be more critical of a KK Slider album that does not have KK Slider front and center. That may be a nitpick, but it is what it is. Next up, we have Welcome Horizon. Meant to be looking like a passport. I can see that with the stamp, but again, needs more detail. I wish there was a little bit more to make it look more natural, where the sky and the ocean and the beach ends into transitioning into this white part. I think you can still have a postcard or a passport with the stamp on it that just looks a little bit more connected. This one's very disjointed. This next one, I feel like I'm gonna get some hate for. But at 86, we have Bubblegum KK, because KK Slider is barely in this one. You have his silhouette behind Chrissy and Francine here, but I would have liked him have a little bit more front and center. In my mind, I think it would have been nice if KK Slider was performing and then Francine and Chrissy were his backup dancers or something along those lines, but I just want more KK, and this one doesn't have him in it at all, really. In 85, we have Agent KK featuring Copper. Copper's not in New Horizons, so I still like his representation in the game, and I wonder how many people the first time they ever played Animal Crossing was New Horizons, and then they took a good look at the Agent KK cover and they're like, who is this person? Who is this dog? So I like the inclusion of Copper, but this one, it's just kind of dull. It's not as interesting to look at, in my opinion, as opposed to some of the other ones. So I can't put this one much higher. I think 85 is a respectable placing for it. In 84, we have KK Blue. I love how the guitar pops out in this one, but again, KK just blends in a little too much. I wish there was a little bit more variation between the colors in the background to have him pop a little bit more, and then just have the red guitar be the only red thing in there. In 83rd, we have KK Adventure featuring Gloria, Wolfgang, Ruby, and Hans. This one I think is cute, but I do think there is a bit of a contrast between the top half and the bottom half. The top half does not give off space adventure to me. It gives off more like ocean adventure, where the bottom half is like this far off mythical planet. They just aren't cohesive together. In 82, we have KK DMB. At first, I would put this one much lower because I was like, KK's not on this one, but he is. His face is very clearly in the background, all mixed up together like that, but I just think it still is not the best to look at. I think having it be K down the left side and then DMB together is also a little strange looking. I think it would have been better if the KK was together and then the DMB were together. There's more equality in the formatting of this one. So a good attempt, I just think could be a little stronger. Okay, these next three I'm going to talk about very quickly all together. In 81, we have KK Corral. In 80, we have KK Fugue. And in 79, we have KK Etude featuring Velma. The reason why these are all together in my mind is because they are KK at the piano. And if all the wording was taken off of it and you asked me which album cover goes to which song, I would not really be able to tell the difference because they are just so similar. There's one a little later on that we'll talk about that features KK sitting at a piano that I think has more personality to it, but these are just all kind of mixed together. No differences, no creativity. All right, 88, we have KK Technopop. I think this one's a very good idea to have it in that kind of Tron computer look. I don't know. I'm just being nitpicky now. I think it's not my favorite to look at. If you stare at it for too long, it can burn your retinas, I feel like. In 77, we have KK Sonata. I love the wig for this one. I think it's very cute. The reason why this one is just at 77 is that it's not as interesting as the ones ahead of it, but I do think this one is nicely designed. Nothing too wrong here. Okay, at 76, we have KK Ragtime. This is another one with KK at the piano, but at least this one looks a little old-timey. Like, I look at this one and I see it's 1920s vibe, 1920s aesthetic. So I do rank this one a little bit higher, but it is still a KK at the piano. In 75, we have KK Moody featuring Brofina and Keaton. Barely see KK. I'm always going to rank the ones where we barely see KK lower on the list. In 74, we have KK Ballad. This one I think is nice. I think that the color that they use though for the word ballad kind of diverts your eyes away from this very striking image of KK's face front and center. So I'm putting this one lower because the text does not really fit the mood too well. In 73, we have Farewell. I like the design of this one. I like how he's walking off, how there's two KKs that are differently colored. I like the shadowing behind it. I just think it is not as interesting. Same thing I said with KK Sonata. Very cool design, but just not that interesting. In 72, we have Rockin' KK. This one I don't have any major issues with. It's very, very similar to Rockabilly, which we'll see a little later on, and I just like the Rockabilly cover way more than this one. So I put KK Rockin' in here because it's fine. In 71, we have KK Dixie featuring Kurt, Paula, and Bill. I like when the villagers are incorporated in the scene and they're actually doing action. I think them playing through the street in a kind of Dixie marching band is nice. But the background here is a little bit to be desired. I wish the background was just a little bit more detailed to it and it didn't just look kind of blended into the background and a little hazy. In 70, we have KK Birthday featuring Tangy. I like the attention to detail on this one, how it looks like KK and Tangy are legitimately made out of fondant for a birthday cake. I just wish the flames looked a little bit better. Like, to me, KK and Tangy are okay to look like sugary and fondant-y. The happy sign is good that way. The strawberry. But the fire looks way too, like, clip art-ish. And I think a little bit more detail could have been given to the candle flames. Here we have Only Me. This is another one that I think is too similar to Rockabilly, and I like Rockabilly more. So all these ones that feature KK as like a 1950s musician, all are kind of ranked against one another, but there's just one that is way stronger than the other two. In 68, we have My Place. This is another one that is very similar to one that is later on the list. This one is very similar to Forest Life, and I like Forest Life's cover better, but I do like the tone that this one evokes, that he's looking off into the sky, trying to find his place in the world. It's cute. I just like other ones better than it that are similar in design and nature. In 67, we have KK Condor. Sahara is in the background here, and she's barely in this one. It looks like they just took a little PNG of her and just stuck her in the back. She doesn't look that involved in the scene, so I dock points for that. If Sahara was in the scene a little bit more prominently, this would rank so much higher because I love KK's look on this one. I love the mountains in the background. I love the designs on the sand. Very, very cute. Very well done. I just want more respect for my girl in the back there. She carries these carpets on her back all day. She should be highlighted the way this queen should be. In 66, we have Aloha KK featuring Bon Bon. I love the way Bon Bon looks on this one. Her with her little hula skirt doing the hula dance. So adorable. But this may be my worst nitpick in the entire video. I hate the way KK's toes look. They just stick out so much more than they do in any other scenario. I know KK does not wear clothing. I know he does not wear shoes, so his toes are always sticking out. But here, they're just very strange looking. I don't like the toes. In 65, we have Animal City. I like how this one looks. I like how the characters are in the scene. The characters in this one are Monique, Mint, Bunny, Wolfgang, Lily, and we have Kix in the background as well. But I think there's a little bit more that could have been added to it to really increase its placing. I think how kind of watered down the villagers in the background look are a little boring to me. I know KK is the star, and I like when KK is the star of these album covers, but I think you can still have him be the star without having the other characters look washed out. In 64, we have Driving. This one has KK cut off, but that's not why it's ranked so low. I have it in this position kind of towards the midway point because, again, not as interesting as other ones before it, but I do like how this one looks like the circles are the lights that come out the car headlights. That one is a very interesting one because this one's called Driving, so it has a kind of a car vibe to it. I do like quite a bit, but I just like a little bit more. Next, for 63, we have KK Tango featuring Freya and Beardo. This is one where I don't mind that KK is not the feature in it. He's still prominently seen. He's not too far in the background. I like how he is the musician accompanying Freya and Beardo on this dance that they're doing together, their tango. So this one I don't have any major problems with. It's just to be a very middle of the road type of album cover. In 62, we have KK Torino featuring Gaston and Dobie. This one reminds me of the Three Calaberos from the Disney movie back in the day. So if you've seen the one, maybe you're getting a similar vibe to it. We have these three dudes walking through the streets with their instrument. Just a cool vibe. In 61, we have Wandering. This is one where I know that it is empty with a purpose. Having KK just there without a bunch of hustle and bustle surrounding him makes sense because he's wandering through the woods trying to find his purpose. But The reason why this one is not low ranked is because he is alone, but this is not an empty scene. There's still lots of greenery, the mountains behind him, the grass, the dirt path road. This is what I like. You can still convey isolationism without having KK be isolated himself in the visual. In 60, we have KK Bizarre featuring Olivia, Cesar, and Ozzy. I love how Olivia looks from this one. She is so cute. The men in the background, though, I think more attention could have been given to them. Cesar, his face does not really match the emotion Ozzy, Olivia, and KK are giving off. Cesar's face is what brings us down a little bit. In 59, we have KK Love Song. This one I think is very cute. It's basic. It gives off like a R&B, early 2000s vibe, especially with the brown, but it's just a little too brown. Make KK stick out a teeny bit more. Have his fur be more white, as opposed to just blending in with the brown in the background. 58 is KK Chill Wave. This one's cool. He's surfing. I like when KK is active and he's in the scene. Have something else. Make the waves look alive a little bit more than so static and plain. In 57, we have KK Waltz featuring Goldie, Wolfgang, Whitney, Diana, and Zell. My first critique of this one is kind of a silly one, but Whitney should be dancing with Apollo. If you've seen the Animal Crossing movie, and yes, there is an Animal Crossing movie, Whitney and Apollo are one of the very few canon couples we have in this universe. So have Whitney dance with her beau, you know? Also, the main reason it's ranked this place is because Wolfgang's face looks like it's stitched up all together. The person who designed it, very talented artist. I love the way all the other characters look, but Wolfgang just looks like they took his body pieces and stitched them together like he's Frankenstein's monster. So I don't really quite like how Wolfgang looks, but everyone else looks quite nice on this one. In 56, we have the M's, KK Marathon featuring Midge, Maple, and Mo. Mo's just a little in the background if you can barely see him. I like the way that Midge and Maple look with their ornaments on their head. I like the costuming for this one. I like how KK is still prominently featured, but he's there in the background playing the instrument. The only thing for this one is I wish the scene was filled out a little bit more and we didn't have so much of this yellow gold background here. In 55, we have KK Swing. He looks so polite here. Just a nice gentleman with his trombone or his trumpet. I can't quite tell from this angle. Maybe some of you who are more musically inclined would be able to tell me what instrument that is. It's probably a trumpet if it's a swing song, but I just like it. Very middle of the road, middle of the pack album. 54, we have Stale Cupcake. This one again, isolated with a purpose. I think it is very striking having the lettering, the words go up above him and he's looking. This is one of the few where I don't mind that it is complete nothingness in the background. I think at least it's better that it's colored different shades of blue as opposed to just emptiness with shades of white or gray. To me, blue is always better to look at than white and gray. In 53, we have KK Groove. I like the design on this one. I just wish the colors kind of fit together a little bit more. They still are in the same wavelength, so I'm not hating on them too much, but this grayish one in the middle I think could have been a different color that fit a little bit better with the orange and then the darker pink. But I do like this one. It's not bad. We're at the place now where all the ones I don't hate. I do like them, but I'm ranking 107 album covers against one another, and I don't know, I like what I like, and I don't like what I don't like. But in number 52, we have KK Fair featuring Cherie and Truffles. I like this one. I like how it is reminiscent of an art style, very comparable to the region that they are giving off. I like how Truffles looks very scary in this one. I like the costumes are culturally accurate. It's just very cute. I just wish there was a little bit more. I wish the characters were slightly bigger and they filled up the space more. In 51, we have Lucky KK featuring Lobo and Lolly. Another L. We have Lucky, Lobo, Lolly. So in KK Lucky, I like how we have KK front and center with the bagpipes. I like how we have Lobo and Lolly dressed up in the cultural attire. It's just very cute. The details though on the rocks and the background are just not super great. I think more detail could have been given to the scenery, but still a likable album cover. Okay, in number 50, cracking in our top 50, we have KK Samba featuring Pave. This one I like, but the problem with this is that there is an alternate cover that I like way more. The alternate color with the vibrant colors where we don't have Pave and KK in this kind of tinted out orange is so much better. I wish the one with color was the actual album cover in the New Horizons game. If it was, this one would be ranked so much higher, but New Horizons uses this orange tinted one. Pave is a very colorful person. I don't know why they would take out his color by putting him in this kind of uniform tint. In 49, we now have Steep Hill featuring Daisy and Ketchup. This one is cute. I like how they were able to very nicely represent that KK is meant to be much younger here than he is in our modern time. With the hair design like that, I like how he's the schoolboy kind of looking out at the two girls in the distance, crushing on them. My only thing is this one does kind of give off incel-ish, and I don't like that, but that's just a personal problem. I know it's a personal problem of mine. In 48, we have King KK featuring Jay, Biscuit, Felicity, Lily, and Lolly again. I like how this one looks very traditionally Japanese. If you're familiar with this Japanese art style, you can tell instantly what it's supposed to mimic. I think it looks very nice. Jay's head does look kind of funny, but it is what it is. This one's still a good album cover. In 47, we have KK Folk featuring Gaston and Goldie. This is another one where the characters look kind of funky, but in a appealing way. KK's got an odd-shaped head here, but I think it plays nicely with how everything else looks and how the painting on this one looks. Okay, in 46, we have KK Polka featuring Lolly. Lolly is in so many of these album covers. Whoever makes the art for these album covers must love her. She's in so many of these so far. I really like how we have KK and Lolly in traditional like Czech clothing or reminiscent of other Eastern European styles. They look very nice. I think Lolly looks so cute with the wrap around her head. I just like the way the characters look, and they are positioned, and the art style is positioned in a way that is also very reminiscent of Eastern Europe. In 45, we have KK Salsa featuring Phoebe. This one's nice. I like how their appearances match each other well. KK does look a little bit more drawn out than Phoebe does. I wish Phoebe also stuck out a little bit more and she was not so blended with the background, because Phoebe is yellow and reddish orange, and that's the same color as the background. So I wish she stuck out a little bit more, but I like the dress that they put her in. I like KK's outfit as well. Pretty nice. Next we have KK Metal. This is the one that I said was very similar to KK Rock, but this one is done better. I like how striking this is. I know the font is very similar to other heavy metal bands and artists. I like the guitar front and center, really showing that this one's all about rock. KK's got a guitar of his own as well. He's looking up at it. A pretty nice one, in my opinion. KK Metal gets a thumbs up from me. Next we have 2 Days Ago. This one I read was inspired by With the Beatles, one of the Beatles album covers. I like, but I think even without that knowledge, it's still nice. We see KK in all his different forms, playing his guitar at the DJ booth, and then we have him just relaxing. I think it's a good way to feature KK and show like the many sides of him. Okay, this is one now that I've mentioned several times already, but in 42, we have KK Rockabilly. I like how KK and Gladys here look so vibrant. They don't blend in with the background at all. The blue background does not take away from either of their designs. The outfit that Gladys is in is so cute. KK's looks very nice, like it's supposed to be an Elvis type of look, very reminiscent of the era. I think that the artist did a good job on this one. And coming in at number 41, we have KK Safari. I love the colors on this one. I know in many African cultures, the colors red, green, and yellow are very prominent. If you look at flags from the continent of Africa, many of them use those colors consistently. And I love how this one brings those colors in. They have KK in this dark silhouette up front, very reminiscent of a lot of art styles from the continent. And I just think this one is so beautifully done, so interesting to look at, so engaging, so vibrant. I love how this one looks. In 40, we have KK Ska featuring Bud, Elise, Eugene, and Beryl. This one I think is cool. This is one where I'm okay with it not being super vibrant because none of the people here are in color. It's not like some people are in color and others are washed out. They all have this very band look to them that I think is very cool, very visually stunning. The darkness of the glasses kind of covering their eyes is a little creepy. I think that at least her eyes look a little freaky here, but I can't hate too much on it. In 39, we have Spring Blossoms featuring Rocco, Kat, Peck, and Limburg. This one is so quaint and serene. Like I've said previously, I love when the villagers are incorporated and they're actually part of the scene. I can get the sense that if this image came to life, I would see the cherry blossoms falling. I would see them all sitting around, tapping their feet to the music, eating their snacks. This one feels very alive to me, that I like quite a bit. Number 38 is Comrade KK. I am so surprised where this one landed. When I created this list, I thought Comrade KK would possibly be in the top 5, because when I thought of album covers that I liked, this is one that I would always be drawn to. I love the purple color in the background. I love how KK just sticks out. KK is so easy to make very bold because he is just a basic white. So him on any color is a good way to bring him out, but especially on this purple, I like the way they added his hair and the glasses to look very Soviet era. This one I like, but there are 37 album covers that I like more than this one. So from here on out, we're gonna get some really good album covers. I'm just shocked Comrade KK is this low down, because I really do like this one. In 37, we have KK Mariachi featuring Gala and Cesar again. I like when the designers, the artists, pick villagers that fit in well with scenery. I think picking both Cesar and Gala are excellent choices for this scene that is meant to be representative of Mexico. I love the costumes that they are wearing. I like how KK has the flower in his mouth. The flower in his mouth looks way better than the flower in Tipper's mouth in KK Flamenco. You can think all the way back to our last place. I think 37 is a good spot for KK Mariachi. In 36, we have Cafe KK with Colton, Kyle, Becky, Sky, Mael, Monique, Francine, and Klaus. This is another one where I could just feel like it comes alive. If this image started moving and talking, I would hear the hustle and bustle of the city. I would hear the chit-chat of all these characters talking to one another. It's just very nice. And I like how happy KK looks drinking his little beverage. I hope he's enjoying. In 35, we have KK Aria featuring Midge, Lucy, and Monique. I love how we have Monique and Midge in the background here, kind of waiting their turn. They're like the rival ballerinas looking at Lucy take the spotlight. I love how KK is drawn in this one. His ears moving like that. I feel like in a lot of these other album covers, KK's ears are always static. We don't see a lot of movement with them, but having them blow in the breeze, showing that Lucy and KK are currently like mid-twirl, is so well done. I think this is a very creative album cover. In 34, we have KK Fusion featuring Lopez, Pee-wee, and Cherry. I'm a little biased. I have both Lopez and Cherry on my Animal Crossing island, so I like having them represented here. But I think this one also looks very nice. It looks very similar to how other band album covers are styled, with each musician having a feature in it, with Lopez on the drums, Cherry on the keys, Pee-wee on the bass, and KK on the guitar. It just looks very nice. I like how then each person has a color that is very representative of them. I also do like the decision here of making all of the characters a little bit more dulled. So this way we don't run into the problems of their fur colors clashing with the different art styles here and the different colors that they use. So Cherry is a very bright pink. You can still kind of see the pinkness to her. She looks still very good with this green film over her. In 33, we have Surfing KK. This one's cool. This one I like better than Chill Wave, because even though they're both surfing, the wave on this one just looks more vibrant. And you may argue, well, yeah, the other one's called Chill Wave, but you can still make water look alive and have movement to it, even when it's chill water. I love also the typeface, the font that they used for Surfing KK here. I think KK looks cute, holding his little guitar on his surfboard. In 32, we have Mountain Song featuring Caroline, Dell, and Margie. This one is very Sound of Music. We have Baron von KK leading the pack here. I love how this one looks. They're in very cute German Alps attire. I like how Dell looks with a little hat on him. I like the inclusion of the butterfly, so there's not just so much emptiness up in the sky. In 31, we have KK Soul featuring Mary. This is another one where I think emptiness can be used well. KK and Mary are just in a fraction of this image, but having the variety of colors, the black, the gold, the orange, the pink, the purple, makes it look not that empty, makes the sky look more alive in the cityscape. So I think this is a good way to do emptiness without it being nothingness. In our top 30 now, we have KK Calypso. I love how hand-drawn it looks. It looks very much like you're walking down the streets and someone will draw this for you and hand it to you. Very well done. In 29, we have KK Gumbo featuring Apple and Tucker. I love the steamboats in the background. It is such a cute touch to add them in. I feel like some of the other album covers would have just had the sky and the water in the background. The steamboats really bring it all together. That makes this album cover justified being in the 29th spot. In 28, we have KK Reggae featuring Shep. Another instance where I think the villager that they used really fits in well with the art that they picked. Because Shep totally would be in a reggae band with KK out on the streets playing music. It fits in so nicely, and I like the inclusion of Shep here. 27, we have KK Song with Lloyd featured. I love the 8-bit art style. It's very reminiscent of early Nintendo. Now, Animal Crossing was not around when Nintendo used this art style, so I think it's a good homage that Nintendo has to itself in the past. In 26, we have Neapolitan featuring Kurlos, Drake, and Teddy. This one is such a cute scene. I've said it before, so I'm sorry for being repetitive, but this one, if I hit play, the scene would come to life. I love having Drake, Teddy, and KK be like a little trio that goes around at an Italian restaurant serenading the patrons. Kurlos looks like he's really enjoying that spaghetti, which is so relatable because I too love spaghetti. This one is a very nicely well put together scene. In 25, we have Go KK Rider. This one is beautifully drawn. I love how it looks like KK is riding from an explosion in the background, how his scarf behind him is blowing in the breeze. He looks like he has a lot of movement to him. In 24, we have KK Hume. This is another one where I think Nintendo did a very nice job representing the culture that they are depicting. This one has the Mongolian art style well, the instrument that KK is playing, his outfit, it just fits very well. I love the reflection of the culture here. In 23, we have I Love You featuring Hamlet, Cherie, Felicity, and Brie. This one is just adorable. I love how Hamlet fell asleep drawing a photo of all the people he loves. The crayon smudges on his face is such a nice attention to detail. One that I would not have considered, but I'm so glad a professional artist put this together and considered that because it just really makes this so cohesive, looks so vibrant and so lived in. 22, we have KK Mambo. KK looks just so happy here, shaking his maracas, being in the palm trees. This is one where there's not just emptiness. I like the inclusion of the palm trees. I think this one would have been ranked way lower if it did not have the palm tree elements to it. So just very, very nice. 21, we have KK Hop. Super good depiction of the early 90s hip-hop era. The outfit that he's wearing, the headphones, the chain, the shoes, the tape deck recorder here. Just so awesome. I like when I can tell that the person who's in charge of creating the artwork actually looked up the era that they're supposed to be depicting, because this one is so 90s. I was born in the 90s. I don't remember it too well because I was pretty young, but when I look back at what the 90s looked like, it looks like this and it feels like this. In slot number 20, we have KK Dub. This one is another good example of KK being isolated, but the scenery not looking empty. I love that he's completely surrounded by these tall, impressive trees. The sun you can see peering up from the top of the album cover. Very beautifully done. In 19, we have the K-Funk featuring Pudge and Panchetti. This one just makes me laugh. I think this one is so well done. I love how KK's face sticks out. I love how the instruments stick out, but everything else just looks kind of all together. I love also the costuming with the glasses. I don't know why Panchetti doesn't have the glasses, but Pudge and KK do, but I do like they all have the afros on. This one is just so funny to me. I love looking at this one. In 18, we have KK Lovers. This one is drama. We have Amelia, Sandy, and Savannah all walking away or looking at KK with disappointment. And I think this represents that these are like the jilted ex-lovers of KK Slider. And he's walking through this crowd with all the women that he wronged in it. This one is good storytelling. I love this one. Not as colorful as other ones. I know I've said I like color, but this one I make the exception for because I love the storytelling here. In the 17th slot, we have KK Rally with Rory, Marina, Peanut, and Cole. This one is so fun. I can tell that the villagers are having a good time. KK's having a good time up there with the drums. The fireworks are so beautiful. I love that they included the fireworks because it would have been so bad if that was just like empty darkness in the night sky. Very beautiful. I love the fans that they each are holding, the outfits that they're wearing. No complaints here for KK Rally. In the 16th spot, we have KK Lament. I love how we have the red characters here filling up this empty space. It really makes it stick out, but it's not diverting your attention away from KK himself. The outfit that he's wearing looks very guarding the lighthouse. I love Gulliver up on the top there, flying in. Just good attention to detail in this album cover. In the 15th spot, we have KK March with Carmen, Gruff, Benjamin, Benedict, Clyde, and Canberra. I like when KK is positioning himself as the leader of this marching band, the conductor, and not one of the players. I think it's really good to have him not be so attached to the instrument, even though in the game he's attached to that guitar. Also, Carmen's face makes me laugh. So does Benjamin's face. I don't know what's up with Benjamin's eyes, but it's just so funny to me. I love it so much. In 14, we have KK Lullaby featuring Gabby and Daisy. This one is so cute. I love how this one looks straight out of a children's storybook. I swear I owned a book growing up that was styled just like this. KK wrapped up in the little blanket with Daisy holding him. To die for. I love baby KK. In 13, we have KK Country. KK Country does well what KK Western could not. I love how it looks like an actual Western poster that would just be hung up in the streets. That's what I wanted out of KK Western. There's no random background here. The stenciling looks nice. The inclusion of all of these other characters, Groucho, Bunny, T-Bone, Butch, and Buck look nice. I think the inclusion of like T-Bone is a good choice because he's like a Western country animal. I love having KK being positioned on the back of the wagon here. Very, very, very impressive. Okay, in the 12th spot, we have probably the weirdest KK Slider album cover, and that is KK Break, featuring Anka and Agnes. Anka looks so messed up here. Having also the rocking sheep from the astrology set kind of zooming out in the background with like the stream of light coming from its behind. This one is so strange, but I can't stop looking at it. The art design of this one is just really well made, and it's something that I could stare at forever and find new little details in it. Number 11, we have Marine Song 2001 featuring Cap'n. This one just looks so hopeful, so peaceful, so serene. KK is really enjoying this boat ride out on the open waters. He's got his guitar in hand. I love this sun, the clouds, the different shades of blue to make it look more filled in, more lively. Super awesome job on this one. All right, we are now in our top 10. I can't believe we've made it this far. In number 10, we have KK Oasis featuring Paula and Margie. This one is very well made again. The costumes are perfect. The headdress that KK is wearing is awesome. The thing though that really puts it in number 10 is the mustache. KK Slider should have facial hair more often. I'm a very pro facial hair person, so having the little mustache here on KK's face, it's a top 10 album cover for sure. Okay, you guys are gonna hate me for my number 7 pick, and you're gonna call me a hypocrite because of this entire video. You've made it close to an hour in, but at number 7, I have to put Forest Life. Now, let me explain. Forest Life is my favorite KK Slider song. It was the song that played in my Wild World home. It is the song that plays in my New Horizons home. It is the one that I enjoy listening to the most, the one that I had the fondest memories of. And because of that, I have very fond memories of this album cover. Now, yes, there is a lot of open, empty space in it. And I've gone this entire time saying that I don't like the empty space. But I never promised that this video would be completely without bias. This whole thing is based on my personal opinion. So I have to put Forest Life at number 7 because of the memories that it brings for me and the connections that I have to this cover. But I can't justify it and how it looks. First of all, Forest Life has this tone to it where you're sitting alone in this vast space and there's nothing else around you. That's what this album cover invokes as well. I also like how the album cover here is a orangish tone and not a basic white. I think the orange make it seem more lively and vibrant, just like the song is supposed to be. And I think that it's nice that KK Slider is front and cover, sitting on the tree stump. I think it's super cute. I have a lot of important memories from it. And you can say all you need to say about me in the comment section down below. Perhaps 7 is too high, but because of my own personal connection to the song and seeing this whenever I would hang up the album cover in my home in game, I had to put it at number 7. At least it's not in the top 5. In number 8, we have To The Edge, featuring T-Bone and Doc. Very strange. I know I said previously that 2 days ago was supposed to be a reference to the Beatles, but this one also felt very Beatlesy to me, specifically the Help album, but I know it's not. So this one I think is very well made. I like how everything's in black and white, but Doc has got like one random white eye. I like the blue water spots coming from the head. This shade of blue is very lovely. If you guys could just help me and let me know, what is this album cover supposed to be in reference to? I know it's a reference to something, but I just don't know. So please let me know. All right, number 7, we have KK Step. This one I love. I love how they are depicting St. Petersburg, Moscow, one of these Russian cities. But the thing I love the most about it is that they used Fang. I've said before, using the right villager can make all the difference in these album covers. I love when they pick a villager that makes sense. In the Japanese translation, Fang's name is Shiberia, like Siberia. So Fang is supposed to be like a Russian gray wolf. So having him be on the Russian cover fits so well. I'm so impressed and so happy that Animal Crossing and Nintendo did this. So this is very worthy of top 10. In number 6, we have KK Jungara featuring Phil. I feel like these two are going to go into a battle with one another, but instead of their swords, they're going to go into a battle with their instruments. The cherry blossom falling all around them. I love the cherry blossoms surrounding the text going down the middle here. This one is so beautiful, and I feel very intense, like I'm walking in on something that is going to go down, and it's going to be a very scary situation. Number 5, we have KK Casbah. I love that this one fits the Moroccan look very well. The outfit that he's wearing is very reminiscent of Moroccan attire and style. The Arabic writing and Arabic design is beautiful. The scenery in the background fits in very well. I think this one is perfectly well done, and for this to be in our top 5, I think really sets the tone for what the rest of this top 5 is going to look like. Number 4, we have Imperial KK. I love how Pico looks on this one. She is the perfect choice to have on this Imperial art cover and design. I love how KK also, even though he is not the main event, he's still prominently featured. I love the fans. I love KK has his arms together like that. I love the lanterns in the background, the very heavy emphasis on the color red. It is beautiful. This is legitimately a beautiful art cover. This next one, number 3, I would call beautiful in a different way. We have KK Robot Synth. This is such a funny album cover. I love how KK is depicted as this like J-pop icon with the blue hair, his arms stretching out to you like he's your icon and he's reaching out for you to touch him. This is the one that I know a lot of girls like in the actual Animal Crossing universe would have been obsessed with. KK looks so funny here. He looks so like in character as like this J-pop robot synth icon. I think this one has really good attention to detail, and I think it's wonderfully drawn. Number 2, we have KK Dirge featuring Jack. This one is so eerie and scary. I love how it gives off this haunted feeling that KK is walking in the darkness, and we can tell because he has that flame illuminating his way, and Jack is just kind of peering behind, looking at him. KK doesn't know that he's there. This one is straight out of a horror movie. I don't like scary movies, but I like the still image, that the emotion that this one evokes. This one is our silver medalist. For a long time, I thought this one would be the gold medalist. I went through them on the wiki where they're listed in alphabetical order. And when I got to KK Dirge, I said, okay, it's going to be hard to beat this one. But there is one that beats this album cover and has everything that I'm looking for in a KK Slider album cover. And that is KK Parade. This one means everything to me. We have appearances from Cap'n, Tortimer, Dizzy, Rod, Puddles, Vladimir, Ava, Frida, Pinky, Hopper, Sally, Phoebe, Joey, Rocket, and Mitzi. Mitzi is my favorite Animal Crossing villager, so I'm always going to think of things that include her in a higher frame. But this one just goes beyond that. I love how colorful this is. I love how there is barely any empty space. You have the balloons, you have all the instruments, the parade of people walking through town. I love how everyone looks that they are engaged in the parade. They're not just static characters, they're actually involved in the situation. This one is so beautiful, so amazing. The flowers, the trees, the sky, and KK being again this marching band leader playing the drum. Perfect. This is the best KK Slider album cover. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. It is a very long one, definitely the longest one I've done on this channel so far. Please let me know what you think down below. What is your favorite KK Slider album cover? I appreciate everyone tuning in and listening. If you want to hear more from me, I've got a few other videos on my channel for you to check out. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.